Do you get stressed talking to women? Today, I want to talk about internal pressure. If you're a high achieving man, a high performer, you're doing well in your career, your business, or some sport, then you know how to deal with pressure in certain environments. But when you're on a first date or you're during an approach and you're talking to a lady that you actually really like, there's pressure. And sometimes that pressure is too much because it disables you, it disempowers you. In this video, I'm going to give you strategic advice on how to deal with that pressure in a way where you can utilize it so that it doesn't disempower you and reduce it to a level where it's actually manageable. Because first of all, you have to understand that pressure, internal stress, has utility up until a point of diminishing returns. If you had zero stress, zero pressure, you'd have no energy, because stress and anxiety and fear and nervousness, it's just free energy. It gives you the energy to show up on the date alive and make her feel alive if you channel it in the right way. So pressure has utility. Imagine a bell curve up until a point of diminishing returns. Günter Schmidt, one of Germany's best psychologists, he talks about pressure as being something that's not really dependent on the outside. Because if you were to hold up a barometer right now, an air pressure measurement tool, whether you feel a lot of stress internally or whether you're totally at peace and relaxed, the air pressure didn't change. So it's evidently not the environment. It's not the environment that makes you feel stressed. It's not her that makes you feel stressed. It's not her looks that make you feel stressed. It's the meaning you give her. Oh, wow, I actually really like her. Have you ever had that? You go on a date with a woman that you don't like that much, and you find it easy to communicate well with her, to put your best foot forward, to be truly confident. But when you actually really like her physically, personality-wise, values-wise, you can see commonalities, you see long-term potential. That's when you mess it up. I'm going to give you some strategic advice in this video on how to navigate the internal pressure that arises in that moment, which is the direct result of the meaning you've given the situation. These are all autonomous internal processes. Patterns of focus, language patterns, the way you use your body, and ultimately the meaning you give it if we use Tony Robbins models. Günter Schmidt, that psychologist in Germany, says, you are in control if you engage your conscious and unconscious mind of the amount of pressure you feel. Now, sometimes we don't really feel in control. It just happens. The amount of pressure, it just comes up. You don't want it to be there, but it manifests itself as a stressful symptom, and it takes away from your confidence, doesn't it? It makes you come across a little more weak, a little bit more insecure, and you're not able to build a man-to-woman connection. You're not able to show up in the most masculine way possible on the date to actually make her feel alive and to instill a sense of confidence within her that it would be the right choice for her to bet her future on you. So what can you actually do when you feel pressure arise within you in that moment in time? Well, first of all, you want to dissociate from the suffering side within you. What I'm going to give you right now sounds like a very silly little technique, but it's actually advanced neuroscience. And again, it comes from one of the best psychologists in Germany. So what you want to do is you want to say, oh, David is a little bit nervous. David feels some anxiety. You want to relate to yourself from a much more competent and stronger point of view. Let me say this again. So you feel a little bit of nervousness arising and say, oh, David is a little bitch. David is a little nervous right now. Aww. And if you actually change your internal dialogue, not just the words you utter, but how you say those words, you will feel an immediate shift in your experience. Because ultimately what this is about, it's about priming an empowering mental and emotional state. What you want is confidence. And one of the definitions or one of the sources of confidence is state. Confidence is just a state that you can learn to turn on. You're not just either confident or not confident. Yes, confidence depends on competence and you lack a skill set. You need to learn to communicate better, learn to build a man-to-woman connection. You need to master dating, of course, but outside of competence, it's a state that you can learn to turn on. It's an experience that you can prime, a mental and emotional state you can learn to turn on. And by changing your internal dialogue, by stepping into a playful relationship with the stress that arises within you, and it's just an experience, rising in consciousness, all of a sudden you take the power away from it. You resist it. Whatever resists persists. You're like, I'm feeling fear. I shouldn't be feeling this. I'll give you a couple of tools in a minute on how to reduce that fear. And if I should forget to give you these tools, remember there's 400 other videos on this channel that you can also go and check out. But first of all, you have to just understand, there's fear. Jack Kornfield, one of the best meditation teachers in the entire world. People like Sam Altman, founder of OpenAI, or other tech gurus are students of Jack Kornfield. I've had the fortune to meditate with him and a bunch of other people in the Spirit Rock Meditation Center in California. He says that stress and experiences arise in the space of loving awareness. And you can learn to name them. Fear. Anger. The critical mind. I see you. And you name it. And you label it. And just by labeling it, you take the fear out of the fear. Because ultimately the problem isn't the fear in and of itself. It's your relationship to it. It's the fact that you don't want it to be there. If you understood that fear was just energy, you can just look at it and say, okay, great, free energy. Fantastic. I can show up on the date in a much more passionate way. Because if you resist the fear, that's what makes you feel awkward. You're so hyper self-conscious. How am I twitching? What am I doing? How do I come across? What's my face like? And if that fear comes up within you and then you resist it, that's what makes you come across as weird. So just by stepping into a loving relationship with the fear, it can actually empower you. It's just free energy. Giving it a different meaning makes you stronger and you can take energy from it. I haven't seen one high performer who doesn't have stress, who doesn't have a little bit of anxiety or nervousness. It's just free energy. Now, if it gets to a point where it disables you, where it disempowers you, that's where it becomes a real problem. But first, you allow it to arise. You say, David is a little bit needy. David is a little bit scared. Oh, you're afraid of losing this girl that you met 2 days ago on Hinge, and you're trying to evaluate future compatibility, and you're basing all of your future lives' happiness on this one woman that you know nothing about? Interesting. If you actually say those words in your head, it's not enough to have heard the concept, but if you actually say those words in your head right now, you will shift your experience and you can reduce that stress immediately. And you can allow it to be there, but you relate to it from a much more stronger, confident, and competent side within you. Now, what can you do to reduce stress and pressure? Tony Robbins says, the fastest way to change how you feel is a change in physiology. Andrew Huberman talks about the physiological sigh, where you inhale to 90% of your lungs capacity. It looks like this. And then you inhale another 10%. And then you basically exhale through your mouth, relaxing your jaw for 10-15 seconds. Slow exhale. Google Andrew Huberman physiological sigh. You do that 3 times, and it's one of the fastest scientifically proven ways to activate the parasympathetic part of the nervous system, the rest and digest part of the nervous system. It can reduce cortisol extremely quickly. Power posing, standing with your hands up in the air for 2 minutes, has been shown to reduce cortisol by 18-20%, to increase testosterone by 18-20%, by going for a run, by having a hard workout, by hugging a friend of yours, by jumping up and down, by doing a little bit of shadow boxing. Changing your physiology radically, how you use your body, having a really hard workout is one of the fastest ways to change how you feel. You are in control of your emotional reality. You are not a victim of stress or fear, even if it may manifest itself. Oh, you want to go and talk to her. Now, it's not as easy as just changing your state. You also have to go through progressive desensitization because approach anxiety needs to be dealt with progressive desensitization or a major shift in state. But if the fear comes up, if the pressure comes up, understand, is this a healthy level? Is this something that's driving me or is it a little bit too much? If it's too much, power posing, go for a run, spend time with quality male friends. Because one of the worst things that you can possibly do to fuck with your performance, to fuck with your mental and your emotional well-being is to spend time alone. Being alone increases cortisol. It makes you more depressed. Spending time in the company of loved ones, the right girlfriend or wife, or at the very least, quality male friends, that immediately puts your brain at ease because we're tribal animals. We're not meant to be alone. If men don't spend enough time with other men, they suffer. You think you can just spend time with your girlfriend or wife and be happy? It's not going to work like that. If you don't have quality male friends around you on a weekly basis, you are doomed to suffer. And just by being around them, it's absolutely secondary what you do, whether it's gym, talking to girls together, talking business, smoking a cigar, playing PlayStation. It's absolutely secondary. Just by being around good quality male friends who want to see you win, who support you, who love you, your brain calms down. Because remember, our brain was shaped during a time hundreds of thousands of years ago where we lived in a tribe of 100 to 200 people. We had our tribe around us 24/7. You were never meant to be alone. I'm a bit of a loner. No, you're not. Being a loner means you're here, your tribe is 15 meters over there. Being alone totally alone for too long weakens you. It reduces testosterone. It makes you feel stressed. It increases internal pressure. You've had this. The moments where you felt the most overwhelmed by your problems, was it when you were surrounded by a group of people who really love and support you, by quality, strong male friends, or was it when you were by yourself? It's 100% when you're by yourself. But if you're with quality male friends, all these problems, they don't even seem that bad. They seem easily surmountable. A very little obstacle can seem like a massive deal if you are by yourself. So what I recommend you do, a more strategic, holistic change you should engage in as a man, is make sure you block time in your calendar for quality social contact. It may not be the answer you wanted, but it's the answer you need. How much time over the last 2 weeks did you spend in the company of quality male friends? I know I keep tooting this horn, and it may sound like a broken record label, but you're still not doing it. Have you blocked time with quality male friends? Upgrade your friends. Get more quality male friends. Let go of the couple of the ones that don't really want to see you win. If you're not fully aligned on politics or religion, you need to let these people go as well. It doesn't mean that you can't wish beings well that you see in the world. Not everybody's going to agree with your values and your personalities. In fact, most people won't. You can wish beings well. But for them to make it into your inner circle, for you to truly enjoy spending time with them, you have to be aligned. You have to be extremely compatible. So, coming back, if you feel pressure arise within you, understand it's just free energy, physiological side, power posing, meditation, hard workouts, and time with quality male friends. If you're a man who's doing well in your career or your business, and you want to find the right girlfriend or wife, click the link below or in my bio and apply for a free initial consultation. Looking forward to speaking with you soon. Take care.